Guests here now deeply involved in that hearing and deeply involved in all the unfolding matters. Trey Gowdy chairs the House Oversight Committee. And, sir, welcome back here on America's Newsroom. We got a lot to go through here, okay? I want viewers to be able to follow it. There's a lot to take in. Oftentimes you come on the air and you say, I don't have the answers, I have the questions, all right? So here are my questions for you today. Specifically in the Trump dossier that broke last night, its connection to Hillary Clinton and the DNC. What do you need to know about that now, based on what information you have?
Bill, it is relevant who paid for the dossier. It's much more relevant who relied upon it. So my focus has always been whether or not the Department of Justice and the FBI relied upon an unsourced CI document to launch a counterintelligence investigation. So I want to know whether the nation's premier law enforcement agency relied on a document that looks like the National Enquirer prepared it.
Wow. Can you answer that question today? Did the FBI rely on it or not, sir?
You know, Bill, I think I can, but I want to be able to prove it. And the fact that the Department of Justice, not the Obama Department of Justice, the Trump Department of Justice, will not give Congress access to that information says a lot about why we are looking into the Department of Justice and decisions they made and did not make. We should not have to ask twice whether or not the FBI relied upon a dossier to launch a counterintelligence investigation. You should have to ask once, but we have not had that question answered yet.
Even after the election last year, the FBI continued to pursue this for a period of time. What does your hunch tell you as to why you will not get answers out of this Department of Justice?
Oh, well, I don't like to rely on hunches, but since you asked nicely, I will tell you, I think the FBI is very interested in preserving its reputation. And frankly, I am too. I want them to be well regarded, but they can make mistakes like everyone else. And if they relied upon an unsourced, unvetted document to launch a really important investigation and use it in court filings, then I think our country is big enough to handle that truth. But they need to share that truth. And if they didn't rely upon it, then they need to tell us that. But so far, they haven't said one way or the other.
Yeah, why has Fusion GPS pled the fifth, sir?
Usually people plead the fifth when they think the answer is going to get them in trouble. The reason the story broke last night is because we took them to court, Bill. As you know, they pled the fifth as some hybrid fifth-first privilege. We took them to court. They were going to lose in court, which is why you saw the leak last night. The Democrats have been fighting us every step of the way to find out who paid for the dossier and whether or not it was relied upon. Yesterday, they went 15 years back in time to talk about apartment leases and bank loans, but they're not interested in who paid for the dossier and whether or not it was relied upon. So I'll be back this morning in a skiff on the Russia investigation trying to get answers.
I have three more questions. I hope you can answer the following. BuzzFeed broke this story in the weeks before the election last October on the dossier. NBC News has a major stake in BuzzFeed by way of NBC Universal, hundreds of millions of dollars by way of its parent company, Comcast. What do you think of that? And would you expect some sort of retraction or clarification from BuzzFeed?
The legal part of that is way above my pay grade. I will tell you this. There was a witness yesterday that we interviewed in Hipsey whose name is prevalent in the dossier. And of the allegations made against him in the dossier, he testified under oath, under penalty of perjury. Every allegation was false. So if you're a private citizen and someone is making false allegations against you and it's publicized, then I think all that millions of dollars you made reference to with NBC, that may come in handy when they go to court.
On the uranium deal, what questions 7 years later remain about that as it relates to Hillary Clinton or the State Department or former President Obama?
It's not so much about Hillary Clinton for me. It is about whether or not CFIUS, which is the Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S., had access to all the information they needed before they made a really important decision from a national security perspective. Again, if the FBI has an ongoing criminal probe involving a fact pattern, and they don't share it with the decision makers who are deciding whether or not to sell percentages of uranium leases in this country, then we have a problem. And I want to know what the FBI and the DOJ knew and who they shared it with.
Final question. Do you think Robert Mueller is the right person to head up this independent counsel? Well, when you consider his background with the FBI and when you consider who worked under him and who you're investigating today?
Bill, I think this is a really difficult political environment that we're in. I'm not sure you could find anyone not named Jesus that everyone would be happy with. I actually am satisfied with Robert Mueller, and if there are questions to ask him about other matters when this probe is over, be happy to do it. But investigations, they should follow facts, and it really shouldn't matter who's leading them. The facts are what direct it. So I know I'm in a small group among Republicans, but I actually have confidence he's going to reach the right conclusions for the right reasons, and that he'll have credibility with the American people when he's done.
So as of today, you're okay with Robert Mueller, correct?
As of yesterday, today, and probably tomorrow, unless something changes me, dissuades me from what I think is a lifetime of pretty solid service to our country.
Thank you for your time, sir. Trey Gowdy, the Republican from South Carolina. We'll talk again from the Hill. Sandra.